Hey, how's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So today we're going to do something a little different that I haven't done before. And we're going to look at the top 10 comics that sold in the month of August. And this will be brand new comics that were sold through your local comic shop. So let's go right into it and see what's going on. So number 10, we got Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters number 3. And this sold 80,523 copies through the comic shops. These were pre-orders and all that kind of stuff. The cover price was $3.99. The publisher was Marvel. And if you add up how much money this one comic made at $3.99 a pop, selling over 80,000 units, this one comic brought in $321,000. So that's kind of interesting. I thought when I would look through these top 10s, I thought like, well, I wonder how much these comics bring in. Now, obviously, they have to give some to their distributor. So like the $3.99 that Marvel charges, maybe like $1 or something goes to the distributor. So yeah, maybe it's 50%. So maybe it's $2 go to the distributor. I don't know the exact numbers that go to the distributor. And obviously the comic shop has to make money too. So I don't know what their comic shop was making, maybe a couple bucks. So it really, there's a bunch of, pieces to this that get sliced up and everyone gets a little piece of it. So Marvel doesn't bring in 321,000. They maybe bring in a third to half of that realistically. So, but still, that's quite a bit. All right, number 9, we got Amazing Spider-Man 72, which is also the legacy number of 873. And this sold 81,262 copies. Had a price tag, cover price of $3.99. It's through Marvel. And overall revenue for this book was $324,235. So not bad for like a, Spider-Man pretty much is mostly always in the top 10, just their random books. So that's pretty interesting. All right, next we got Kang the Conqueror number 1. And this sold 82,234 units. This one had a price tag of $4.99 instead of the previous $3.99. And, it's through Marvel, which brought in $410,000, which is just crazy amounts of money that it's bringing in. Next, we got number 7 here. We got Moon Knight number 2. Its legacy number is 202. And it sold 93,587 units. Had a price tag, cover price of $3.99. It's through Marvel, obviously. And its total revenue was $373,000. Now, this was a little less than the Kang the Conqueror number 1, only because it had a price tag of $1 more. So that's why. So brought in a little more money. The Kang did, but then this one. Next, we got XMen number 2. And this was 95,227 units sold. And this, of course, is through the comic shops that, hard copies. This doesn't include any copies that people like read online or something like that, where they like buy a copy to read online. This is strictly through the comic shops that are distributed. So this had a cover price of $3.99. It's through Marvel. I mean, Marvel pretty much runs the top 10 for sure. And it brought in $379,000. It's slightly under $380,000. Number 5, we got Batman Fear State Alpha number 1. Now, this is the first DC on the list. It had units sold 98,000, price tag $4.99, publishers DC. This brought in $489,000. So almost one thing about that, almost one comic brings in $500,000 per issue. Now, obviously, number 1s always sell way higher than the other ones going down the list. So probably, if they make a Batman Fear Alpha State 2, it's probably going to be way less than this. Usually because number 1s, they hype it up. They want people to get to read it. So they have all these variant covers and everything like that. And that costs money and things like that. All right, number 4, we got X-Men Trial of Magneto. and number 1. And this sold way more than the previous one, 117,334 units. It had a cover price of $4.99. This is obviously through Marvel Publishing, and it brought in a little over $585,000. Wow, just a ton. Number 3, we got Batman 111, and this sold 118,000 units, had a cover price of $4.99, and it's obviously through DC, bringing in $588,000. So it looks like Batman's always bringing a ton of money, and SpiderMan's bringing a ton of money. Those are like the heavy hitters for Marvel and DC. Number 2, we got Batman 89, number 1. So this is going to be a short-lived series, a limited series, kind of bringing back the Michael Keaton Batman and stuff like that. This sold 134,000 units. The cover price was $3.99. Publishers DC, and that brought in almost $535,000 just for this one book. Man, that's a crazy amount of money. And finally, our number 1. But before I go to my number 1, hit that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. All right, number 1, what is it? What is it? Do you know what it's going to be? This is for the month of August. King Spawn, number 1. This sold 479,908 units. It had a cover price of $5.99. It's through Image, so Image making this list. Normally, Image doesn't really make these top 10 lists. And look how much it brought in. This is why I wanted to do this number, because it's crazy how much money this brought in. $2,875,000. Think about that. Nearly $3 million this one book brought in. Now, obviously, like I said, you have to split it with your distributor and the comic shops. I don't know the exact splits. Maybe someone out there, one of you guys can comment below if you own a comic shop. Maybe you can say like, oh, if the book's $6, right, then I make 3 of it or whatever it is. And I'm sure DC, Image, and Marvel all have their different splits. Maybe Marvel takes more of it. I don't know. So maybe someone out there can help me and let me know. But yeah, look at that. It's nearly $3 million that Todd McFarlane got for just the number 1 issue. Now, obviously, a lot of people bought this because they wanted that variant cover. That's supposed to be the rarest of the rare. So a lot of these comic shops will overbuy. Maybe realistically they'll be able to sell like 10 or 20, but they'll buy like 200 just so they can get that variant cover, because they know they can turn around and sell that variant cover on eBay or case it and sell it in an auction for a lot more. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think of this list. Is this something that you guys are interested in? The reason why I'm doing August instead of like, September, or even October. October is, just kind of ending, is because it takes a while for these numbers to come in. So right now, the full numbers are in for August, and it'll probably be another like month or so before I get the full numbers for September. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. I can even go more back if you want the top 25, want the top 50. I mean, that's a bit much. But yeah, I'll probably throw in some other information, like of all the books sold, like how many were Marvel, how many DC, how many more independent, if you're wondering. I can even show like the lowest, like some comics, like they'll sell like 1,000 copies, and what is that bringing in? If they're $4 a pop, you're bringing in $4,000. So it kind of gives you some perspective when you see these other titles and how much the artists can make and the writers can make from these comics. Because obviously King Spawn, a little bit different. But you got your Batman 111, right? That's bringing in almost $600,000 per issue. So, even if like DC gets half that, that's $300,000 per issue. You could easily give like an artist, $10,000 to do the comic, the art. Maybe the cover artist gets like $20,000, and then the writer gets some money, and then inker and colorist and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, all right. Well, have a great day.